Welcome back. Now let's dive into the I want to think about it objection. If you do it as traditionally taught and you say, well, what is exactly that you want to think about? You're accepting the prospect or customer's lie as the truth, and now you force the customer to justify that lie because I want to think about it obviously means they're not sold yet. So I don't want to breathe life into a false objection. The key to overcoming I want to think about it, or a few other specific smokescreen objections I'll tell you about in a second, is not to try to overcome it because it's not the real objection. Instead, you need to convert it into a real objection and plug that into my 5-step objection handling formula that we went over in the last module and solve the real concern. And here are those specific other smokescreen objections that the ultimate rebuttal to I want to think about it will work for as well, whether that be for business to consumer objections like I need to talk to my wife or husband, or I don't make a decision the first time I look at something, or for you business to business salespeople, objections like I need to talk to my partner, or I don't make a decision the first time I look at something. Now, the key to pulling this off and having it work 100% of the time is to have the right voice qualities and body language when you deliver this. And it does work 100% of the time, by the way. I mean that. I've never had someone in 31 plus years of selling ever say after I use this, no, Jason, you're wrong. I do need to think about it. And you'll soon see why. Because I'm giving the customer a way out, or at least it seems that way to them. And when I say voice qualities, I mean the softness of my voice at key places, how slow I'm delivering it at times, the pregnant pauses, the purposeful choppiness. So it sounds like it's the first time I ever said it, which is a proprietary technique that I already went over with you. And even key places, I use completely different inflection. And I'll point out when I say a sentence like, and I say the same things to salespeople too. Those are going to be completely different voice qualities than in earlier sentences. So really pay attention and pick this module apart. So Media Facilitator, you will most likely need to pause this module and rewind it several times so everybody really gets this wired. Guys, think like an actor or actress, how much they study their lines and the delivery of those lines before they film for a scene a few days later. If you put in the work today, then you will forever completely crush this objection once and for all. Here we go. You know, I want to think about it. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and whenever a customer says something like, you know, I need to think about it, or I need to talk to my wife, or maybe they'll say, you know, I don't make a decision the first time I look at something, what they're really saying is, you know, I'm just not sold yet. And I say the same things to salespeople too. But after doing this for a long time, I found that there's really only 2 real reasons why somebody would not want to move forward. Either they don't have the money, which I understand, you know, you can't manufacture money, or they don't think they'll get the results. There's some uncertainty there. So which one is it for you, or is it both? And every single time, the customer will either pick one or all of the objections I gave them, or they'll say, it's not that, it's this, or it's this plus this. Either way, I've won, because all I'm trying to do is to get the real objection. If I don't have the real objection, I can't do anything other than the traditional, what is exactly that you want to think about, which forces them to lie to me. Using this formula gives me the real objection, which is what I want. Then I'm going to plug that into the Power Sales University 5-step objection handling formula that you learned in the last module and solve the real concern. Let me repeat this and really listen to the purposeful pauses, the soft voice qualities, the searching for words, the uptick in the speed on the, and I say the same things to salespeople too. And this is going to be the key to having this work 100% of the time. Here we go from the top. You know what, let me think about it. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and you know, whenever a customer says something like, you know, I need to think about it, or you know, I need to talk to my wife, or maybe they'll say, I don't make a decision the first time I look at something. What they're really saying is, you know, I'm just not sold yet. And I say the same things to salespeople too. But after doing this for a long time, I found that there's really only 2 real reasons why somebody would not want to move forward. Either they don't have the money, which I understand, you can't manufacture money, or they don't think they'll get the results. There's some uncertainty there. So which one is it for you, or is it both? Now, a couple of things here. In the first paragraph, any of the objections here in bold, you can and should replace with the objections that you hear. These are just examples. These examples in bold are most likely the objections you hear if you're selling to consumers, or here in gray are your common objections you hear when selling to businesses. But the point is, again, state the objections to the customer in the first paragraph that you hear on a regular basis. These are just examples. This is explained off to the right where it says, name your other common smokescreen objections. This is an opportunity to eliminate them before the customer has a chance to use them on you after you overcome, I need to think about it. This way we kill two birds with one stone. Make sense? See how great it is, guys? Now, let's say the customer starts off with, I need to talk to my wife or husband. Then we would start off with that and place, I need to think about it, in the second position. Here, let me give you an example where the customer starts off with, I want to talk to my wife, but then we want to make sure that we're naming the other smokescreen objections and shutting those doors. So we're also going to eliminate the, I want to think about it, and I don't make a decision the first time I look at something, objections, so that they don't run and use those on us after we solve the I want to talk to my wife objection. All we're really doing here, guys, is moving the position of the objections. The words stay the same. Here's the example from the top. I need to talk to my wife. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and whenever a customer says something like what you just said, you know, I need to talk to my wife, or, you know, I need to think about it, or maybe they'll say, you know, I don't make a decision the first time I look at something. What they're really saying is, you know, I'm just not sold yet. And I say the same things to salespeople too. But after doing this for a long time, I found that there's really only two real reasons why somebody would not want to move forward. Either they don't have the money, which I understand, you can't manufacture money, or they don't think they'll get the results. There's some uncertainty there. So which one is it for you, or is it both? Okay, now in the second paragraph, it's the same thing here. What you see in bold is just an example. When you hear and know in your heart of hearts what are the real reasons, place them in that paragraph and get rid of my two examples. However, that either they don't have the money, which I understand, you can't manufacture money, is one that I would imagine would probably stay, or you would substitute that with, I think your price is too high, or I think I could do better elsewhere. Be bold, raw, and real, and name the true objections that they're probably thinking about. That's the key to this. You want to help the customer tell you the truth. What are the real reasons a customer would not want to do business with you? Is it the money? Are they concerned they won't use the product? This could be two things. It could be three things, more. Just list the main two or three. And just so we're super clear, this formula is to be used with the particular objections that are complete smokescreens. The one that there is no doubt in your mind that when you hear it, they're false. So if I'm selling B2C, then I want to think about it. I need to talk to my wife or husband, and I never make a decision the first time I look at something, are all completely smokescreens 100% of the time. Just maybe there's a 5% chance that talking to the spouse is legitimate, but that's about it. And I'd rather play the odds. So if I'm selling B2B, then I want to think about it, and I never make a decision the first time I look at something, are both completely smokescreens 100% of the time. Let me talk to my partner is the one that's maybe 50-50. So here's the deal on this one. I'm going to look to see if their body language and voice qualities are congruent or not. If they're congruent, then I'll take the let me talk to my partner and plug that into the Power Sales University 5-step objection handling formula. If they're not congruent, then I'm going to use the ultimate rebuttal to I want to think about it on them for that particular objection. So there it is, guys, the ultimate rebuttal to I want to think about it. In 31 plus years of selling, not once has it ever not worked. And it works for the other B2C and B2B smokescreen objections I just laid out. And don't forget, as I said earlier, think like an actor or an actress, how much they study their lines and the delivery of those lines before they film a scene a few days later. If you put in the work today, then you will completely forever crush this objection once and for all. All right, meet a facilitator. You know what to do when the module ends. Go around the room and ask this question. What's an aha moment you've had during this training session? Something that you will start or stop doing from what we just covered. Then after that, get ready to test your salespeople with the following test, and let's try, as always, to get a different salesperson to answer each question. All right, I will see you at the next module, and as always, you know the rest.